Good morning.
You got a double hit.
I will now call today's meeting of the Sports Authority to order. If everyone would please take your seats. We'd like to thank Geodis Park and Nashville SC for hosting us this morning. We look forward to hearing their report later in the meeting. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome Councilmember Brett Withers is back with us this morning. Thank you. We're glad to have you. So the first item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes from the December 1st, 2022 meeting. You have the minutes from the December meeting behind tab 1. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review those.
Motion for approval?
Is there a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we would approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The motion passes. Now we have our executive director's report from Monica Faulknerson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. As you can see, the agenda is before you. It's very straightforward. We have several important updates and reports. No action items today, but I do have a few updates for you. Last fall, the board approved a paver project at First Horizon Park. The trip hazard work, if you remember this, the pavers had sunken in, creating a trip hazard. There have been a couple of falls, I think, with guests and maybe some staff. And so that was a real concern and something that needed to be repaired immediately. So the trip hazard work was completed in late October before the Enchant Winter Lights event began. The remainder of that work, which is vacuuming some of the seams and replacing some filler drainage materials, is scheduled to be finished in February. The project cost was not to exceed $15,000. The Sounds advanced the payment on the project, and then we're requesting 4% funding from the administration and the Metro Council to reimburse the Sounds, and hope to know something next month on that. Also, at First Horizon Park, the club seats project is about to begin. So they are going to start removing some of the existing seating. I think that's scheduled to begin on February the 13th. And then about a week later, the new seats will arrive. They'll install those. I think that's going to take about 3 weeks, and they should be completed by March 10th. So that will be done before opening day. And then finally, Metro Internal Audit continues to work on the Geodis Park audit. We've talked about that the last couple of months. The auditor hopes to finish his draft report over the next few weeks, and then it will be reviewed internally by Metro Audit, and then will come, they'll distribute it as a draft report. And so we'll just continue to keep you all updated as we move through that process. Any questions? Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Monica. Just as a matter of housekeeping, if any of the directors have a desire to speak, make sure you have your red light on so that your speaker will be turned on. Next on our agenda is the Titan Stadium update. We have Deputy Mayor Sam Wilcox and Deputy Law Director Tim Cross to give an update on the Titan Stadium. And we also have with us today Finance Director Kelly Flannery. Good morning.
Thank you, Chair. Director, it's good to see you again. I think this update will be relatively short. There is no substantive update. We are making good progress on the definitive docs. The term sheet passed. Oh, sorry about that. For the record, I thanked all the directors. The term sheet passed council less than a month ago, and so since then we've been off to the races, working as hard as we can to get the final business issues resolved with the team and full alignment on definitive docs. We expect to be back in front of you all within the next 30 to 60 days with that package of documents, which would include things like development agreement and lease agreement, things that we've spoken to previously. We'll work with the executive director and her staff to make sure that you all have documents that in advance, access to us to answer any questions. We're happy to come to a special meeting or regularly scheduled meetings to make sure that you all have all of your questions answered on time and to your satisfaction. With that, there really is no more of an update than that. So happy to answer questions or let you get on with your meeting.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Sam, you said 30 to 60 days. Are you anticipating the board would need to act within that timeframe, or just the documents will be ready? And just curious in the timeline, if it's something that we need to be prepared that we might need to take action on at the next meeting.
We expect to have the documents to you by then. We hope that you all are able to review and approve roughly in that time frame as well. We'd like to be in front of council in March as well. So, but again, we'll work with you all to make sure that you have access to us. We answer questions in a timely fashion. We'll do anything that you all need to make sure that you all feel comfortable with the documents and the agreements in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that report. Would like to acknowledge that Vice Mayor Jim Schulman has joined us this morning, and so we're happy to see you here. Thanks for being here. Next on the agenda, Fairgrounds Nashville Speedway proposal. So we will hear from Mayor Cooper's senior advisor, Benjamin Eagles, on the proposal to renovate and upgrade the Fairgrounds Speedway. Benjamin, okay.
Thanks for having me here today. I want to share with you an update on the progress at the other facility here at the Fairgrounds, the Speedway, and how that's progressing. Currently, the Fair Board is reviewing a proposal. They're having a number of community meetings, both work sessions and public hearings, and wanted to walk you through our proposal for the future of that facility. So today we're going to kind of talk about the background, the history of the Speedway there, the partnership that we're proposing both with NCVC, the state, and Bristol Motor Speedway, and how that's going to relieve financial obligation for Metro and create a better campus here at the Fairgrounds. So the text is not popping up there, but as you can see from my caption, the Fairgrounds here has been holding races since the late 1800s, beginning first as a harness horse racing track, and then with automobiles in the early 1900s. It's a legendary facility within motorsports. A lot of us here in Nashville know it as the sort of dilapidated site that it's become, but it's beloved within the sport and has a deep history of racing here. These are two quotes from basically the most popular drivers from the last 20 years, and their sentiments about the facility here. There's a great deal of excitement within motorsports to turn this short track into the great facility that it was in prior generations. So back in 2011, there was a referendum to protect the Fairgrounds and the historic uses here, including the fair, flea market, and of course the Speedway. And so as a result, Metro has an obligation to continue racing here, and that obligation comes with a financial cost. And with the facility in its current condition, there's a question of what exactly that cost is. And so both of the requests of the finance director and of the chair of the Fair Board, Sherry Weiner, we're currently undertaking that work through a consultant. You might be familiar with a similar process on a different sports facility that you guys have worked hard on. Throughout the few decades since NASCAR last raced at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, facility has not been properly invested in, and so that's created a facility that is not kept up with the times in terms of safe infrastructure, both for racers and for fans. The facility is not ADA compliant and needs a bit of work to maintain its racing schedule well into the future. So the mayor's primary goals are to complete this vision of the modernized fairgrounds. We see now with the beautiful facility we're standing in today, as well as the expo facilities and the mixed-use development that's coming to the fairgrounds, we see pretty clearly that the Speedway is the only piece of the fairgrounds that hasn't had a vision for. The second piece of it is trying to shift the financial burden away from Nashville taxpayers. Like I spoke to before, we know there's an obligation to continue racing here. And so to the extent that we can bring in partners to help us with the facility improvements, that's going to be a great asset to taxpayers. And then kind of the third core goal here is as we renovate the facility, bring it back to its former glory, we want to make sure that we're not burdening the neighborhood with more noise and more racing. And so you'll see facets of this plan in terms of mufflers for non-NASCAR races and a sound mitigation plan that includes sound walls that will meaningfully lower noise as well as restrict the number of practice and testing days that can happen at the site. That brings us to the way we're going to do this, which is a partnership with the best operator within the sport of NASCAR, which is Bristol Motor Speedway. They would sign a 30-year lease to manage and operate the facility, and they would be responsible for future maintenance on the site. And so right now, the Fair Board is reviewing both the lease agreement and development agreements that we've proposed with Bristol. And after they go through their process, if they approve it, we would plan to bring the agreements to this board. Here are a couple high-level points about the renovation we have planned. The fairgrounds would be home to two 30,000-seat venues, which would be pretty unique within the state. And it would open it up for potential uses year-round that aren't just restricted to racing. You'll see a point there about the sound reduction plan and the importance of bringing it in to ADA compliance. Another pillar of the plan is a partnership both with the state and with the NCVC. The state last year passed a $17 million grant to upgrade the facility, and Nashville Convention Visitors Corp has agreed to another $17 million commitment, and that they would then get use of the facility on an annual basis. Here's a bit about the financing. See up top, those two $17 million contributions. A portion of the contribution from NCVC would go upfront to design. And then Bristol would pay an annual rent, as would NCVC. The Fair Board remains very concerned about offsetting the rent that they would lose by allowing Bristol to use the expo facilities for the major race weekends. You'll see at the bottom 4 significant event weeks. I believe Bristol will be using the expo facilities for 3 weeks a year. So part of that portion, $103,000, would be guaranteed. Then the other half of that would flow to the Fair Board through excess revenues in the waterfall. There'll be a share of sponsorship agreements. And then any naming rights agreement that's signed, Metro would see a 10% share of that. Similar to the Titans deal, you'll see, of course, local sales taxes, and then also a food and beverage split outside of the 4 major weekends, which would include a NASCAR race. So if you're getting deja vu here, you're probably not alone. We did a financial review of the proposal performed by CSL, and then we took that review to heart and made some meaningful changes to the deal before bringing it to the Fair Board. So if you go online and peruse that report, the conclusions there are not reflective necessarily of the current deal that was proposed. It was a report done to give us a financial assessment of a previous iteration of the deal that I believe has been significantly improved since that point. So you'll see here how the design process is going to work. I mentioned NCVC is going to pay for a third of the initial cost. Anything above $6 million for design will be the responsibility of Bristol. Metro, as a result of that cost sharing, Metro will not see any upfront costs for design. And then we would take this proposal, if vetted and approved by both the Fair Board and the Sports Authority, it would go to council once there's a GMP and design in hand. This slide speaks a little bit to Bristol's role here at the Fairgrounds. You'll see for 3 of their weeks a year, they would also have use of the expo facilities. They have a commitment within the agreement to host a NASCAR Cup race here at least every other year. And then there are some penalties within the proposal if they don't deliver on that commitment. And Bristol is responsible for future capital improvements and maintenance here at the site. So the mayor believes this will be a better product for the community, not just for the facility and for race fans, but for the community. You'll see a meaningful reduction here in practice days at the site from 25 to 20. And there are going to be strict restrictions on not allowing race cars, which is the noise producers, to operate outside of the set schedule. And the sound walls and that 50% reduction in perceived noise, that comes from a sound consultant's work that has also been presented to the Fair Board and is available online. And in conclusion, here's a quote from Mayor Cooper about how this partnership can build on the 131-year tradition here. I think on the first slide that text did not appear. This is the second oldest continuously running racetrack in the country. There's a great deal of pride here in this facility, and we believe this plan is a way to not only bring the track back to life, but complete the vision of the comprehensive vision of the Fairgrounds. Thank you.
And thank you. I was going to say that this Fairgrounds Speedway is a rich historical contribution to our city, but I didn't realize it was 131 years. That's amazing. If the directors are like me, we've taken in a lot of new information today. I'm sure that we will want to learn more and maybe have access to some of this information, and we'll have questions, but are there any questions currently for Benjamin? Or comments? Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ben. What is the estimated timing of all of this as it pertains to whatever is going to be presented to us and then subsequent milestones, completion, all the way through to completion?
Yeah, right now, what we're waiting on is the consultant's report to come back. The consultant is working on, at the direction of Chair Wiener, is working on an analysis of if we did not move forward with the proposal with Bristol, what could Metro reasonably expect to spend on the Speedway facility in years to come. That consultant was in town last week, I believe, was on site on the 11th, and plans to have that report done by February 3rd, at which point they would present to the Fair Board. The Fair Board would have a work session to review that, and then a public hearing. Subsequently to that work, at some point the Fair Board will vote on the proposal, and then after their review, were they to approve the proposal, we would then bring it to the Sports Authority for your consideration. And then subsequently to that, once a design has been completed and a GMP has been arrived at, then it can move to council. And so there's going to be an RFP committee to review design bids. So that work is ongoing. But I would expect that if the Fair Board approves the proposal, that it would be in front of this body sometime in the spring or summer.
And we would be considering then revenue bond issuance to support this redevelopment. What will our ongoing role be then as far as oversight?
Yeah, so it is a unique role for this board because previously the Sports Authority has not had a role in the Fairgrounds Speedway. It would be a revenue bond issuance as you've spoken to. And then in terms of the governance of the facility, you would have agreed to the lease agreement, the development agreement. Tom Cross is here, but my understanding is in terms of the governance of the facility, that would still be the role of the Fair Board.
One last question. The $17 million from the state, is that contingent upon anything?
We're not going to dome it, so it's going to just be the same Speedway it is now. It's not contingent. It's just it's a grant to upgrade the site. I would say the one contingency is going to be the fact that the rest of the financing has to come to play. So $17 million alone is not enough to upgrade the Speedway to a NASCAR standard. So I think it's safe to say that the state was interested, not just for the historic nature of this facility, but for the potential to bring back major events, including NASCAR Cup races. And so without the revenue bond piece, without the NCVC contribution, without Bristol's contributions and long-term lease, the $17 million from the state wouldn't be on the table.
Understood. Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any more questions.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
In terms of the estimated revenues of ticket sales, since it hasn't been in full capacity, do you have an estimation around that? Like how much ticket sales you anticipating the facility to have?
Great question. That is something the CSL report dives into. One of the things that I think we can take a great deal of confidence in is at 30,000 seats, it would be the smallest venue on the NASCAR circuit. And so the consultant had no doubt that those cup races would be sellouts. It's then a question of the other activations of the site. And so Bristol in their initial model, I believe, had projected 3 concerts a year. The consultant said he believes that's optimistic and would forecast 1 a year. And so that's an example of something that we then change within the financial model. Another piece in terms of ticket sales would be, in addition to the NASCAR race, the other 9 weekends a year where there's racing here. And so how do you forecast attendance at an upgraded facility? The consultant believed that with better amenities, a better sort of viewer experience at the facility versus where it is now, that would have, as a result, more people would go. And then partnering with a world-class operator that would be able to better market and advertise events, that would have an effect too. But again, that's an area where the consultant said Bristol's projections, he believed were a little optimistic. He shaved them down a little bit to something that the consultant believed was more in line with other facilities around the region, around the country. And then we went with his financial projections in terms of attendance and ticket sales and used that as the model. So one of the reasons that this has taken a long time to get to the Fair Board is we commissioned that report and then adjusted the financial projections in accordance with his findings.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I have a question with reference to this total process and how the package is being put together now. I am interested in knowing, you've mentioned community several times, I'm interested in knowing, once this package is developed, what involvement in terms of an economic development standpoint will the immediate community as well as the Nashville community be involved in the process? Will you have a requirement for an entity to help you achieve minority participation in all aspects of this project? Is that something in the planning right now?
That's something that I believe both the mayor and Bristol are deeply committed to. I don't have materials, today to present to you on that, but would love the opportunity to come back before the Sports Authority with Bristol and present as to DBE goals and participation on the project.
Would it be possible to come back before your final presentation to do so?
I believe so. Yes, sir. I can make that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Hey, Ben, tell us about scheduling. How does that work when we're busy here in Geodis Park? Can you have a race the same day as you have a game here or event here? Is that possible? And I guess really my real question is, who's got the oversight on the scheduling? Is that through the Fair Board or just how that works?
Very fair question. I think everyone involved, both on the Nashville SC side and the Bristol side, and of course the 5 Fair Board commissioners, all agree that it is not possible to have a soccer game and a NASCAR race at the same time. And so the scheduling protocol and how that works with the existing agreement with Nashville SC is something that's being worked out now. The Fair Board and specifically Chair Wiener has been incredibly helpful in working with Nashville SC on a protocol. And so that's something that Metro Legal, the Fair Board, and Bristol and Nashville SC are working out because we know that both with major races at the fairgrounds and the soccer schedule here, there are TV contracts, and you need to be able to schedule with some certainty many months in advance. And so want to be able to make sure that all the facilities here can coexist. And so that is an issue at the last work session of the Fair Board that they wanted to see resolved before they move forward.
Sorry, any other questions? I have a final question. You mentioned the NCVC's contribution, and in return, they would have access in the future. Is there any discussion around what kind of events they would be supporting or having at the Speedway as it relates to usage of those funds?
Great question. So in NCVC's interest is, of course, in bringing another slate of major events to Nashville, but they've also spoken to the real lack of major event space in the downtown, as a convention center is pretty much booked to capacity, and we've seen a lot of growth within the downtown. The proximity to the fairgrounds, both with the expo facilities and with this with the Speedway facility, they believe would be a potential site to host major corporate events, expos, car shows, large corporate gatherings. So that's their interest in the days each year that they would have access to the site.
I think they're singing you off.
I think it's my walk off. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. So at each of our meetings, we provide an opportunity for the board members to ask questions of our facility partners. And we have representatives from all of our venues and teams here. Are there any facility questions? Yes, Director Atkins.
Yes, I understand with the recent freeze that we had some damage at Nissan Stadium. Just curious if our facility partners from the stadium can give us an update.
Good morning, Burke Nihill, President and CEO of Tennessee Titans and Nissan Stadium. I will refer to the muscle on the work, Bob Flynn, to give you more specific detail. But yes, with the freeze, there was about a 26 hour triage situation at the stadium. 9 or 10 water pipes burst. We had sewer lines freeze. We had 20 or 30 sprinkler heads that burst as well. Woke up that Friday morning to several water incidents, and those didn't stop overnight all the way until the next morning, a morning in which we had a game that was supposed to be played at noon. Eventually, that game was moved back to 1 o'clock. But Bob, it was actually interesting. It was only maybe a few days after Sean Henry and the Predators were presenting a situation that they had been encountering, which was a lot more water, but very similar storylines. Quite literally brought the same restoration company in to help as well. And the team, led by Bob, really needs to be commended for what was just a tireless effort to make sure that the building didn't suffer any worse damage than it was already suffering. And thankfully, they did a great job with that. And despite that situation occurring all over the building, inside, outside, all over, they chased the leaks and the burst pipes, and were able to really do a great job of mitigating that damage.
Thank you, Bert. Board members, good to see you. Happy New Year. I do have some videos which I've got, but I'll just start and then we'll run some videos. But so on Friday, the day before, well, here's one video right here. So this is on the 6th West. This is about 1:30 in the morning on Saturday morning going into our game. So it's a leak from a concession stand above, and as water always does, it just finds holes and goes down. And so that should be that's either on 5 or 6 West. And, as Burke said, we were there the whole night. We're going to just go ahead and run through some, then I can go back to the timeline. This is from outside on the south. This is a dry system here of our fire lines. And you can tell this is at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the water is already freezing as it's coming out. And so if you go over to our party foul, and we'll go inside the party foul in another video, this is just water just coming out from a sprinkler head that popped that night. And you see now it's freezing right there. I mean, it was freezing because at Saturday morning, it was 6-7 degrees. On Friday, we woke up to -2. There's a fire sprinkler head that popped, and as somebody described it, it was like a car wash in there. It was quite the sight. And this is in other concession stands as well. And here's our last one, I think. Yeah, you can see the damage from steel and tile. I will say this, of the whole night, as you can see this, the building damage was really not much. Ceiling tile, we've had some baseboards, the carpet, we didn't have to replace any carpet. There is a lot of replacing of fire sprinkler heads. Corson's been there for 2 weeks still trying to get everything back together. But, you can just see, it was what Burke said is, Sean had just presented a couple days beforehand. I can remember seeing there going, gosh, I don't want to experience that. And
All right.
so on Friday morning, we had our game on Saturday. It was supposed to be a noon kick versus the Texans on the 24th. So on 23rd, my whole crew's there. It's I think it was 2 degrees that day I forget what the wind chill was. We're doing our prep work. We're really trying to go around there, checking every room for just possible. We know it's coming. We just don't know how bad it's coming. But we're also trying to put salt around the stadium because we have, it snowed, I don't know, a couple inches, wasn't a whole lot, but we had ice throughout the building also, so we had to take care of that. So we're going along, doing our work, and at 9:30, our first break happened in our suite 513, and that was water break. They came down through a fan coil and went through 3 or 4 different suites. And at that time, I think I reached out to Adam Noose and Burke and said, just making you guys aware this is what's happening. So I called Case Restoration, who also did do the work with Bridgestone. They were down there within 2 hours. And so they're there. They were trying to, we're trying to get more heat into the building, because that's one thing, I don't think there's very, very many buildings in Nashville that was, can handle the 3 days of those temperatures. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to add heat in the building. And so Case Restoration's there, and they've got 30 different fans going, and we're getting everything going where we think only 513 is not going to be available in that suite 513. We're thinking all the other suites we can get back online. Then we'd have another concession stand that would lose a sprinkler head there. And the nice thing about concession stands is they're mostly stainless steel, and not a whole lot of damage there. We didn't lose any points of sale or TVs and stuff like that, which was amazing. But by 8 o'clock that day, feeling decent. I'm going to go on home. I still got Case there. I got Corson there. They're doing their work. And about 12 o'clock that night, I get a call from Case saying, hey, Bob, here's a video of 6 West or 5 West. And then I said, well, I guess I'm going in, because I just wasn't going to sleep through it anyways, and just feel like I got to be there regardless what I can do or not do. I just have to be there to be part of it. So I go on down there, and then the party foul goes, and just through the whole night, we just get, thank goodness that Case was there, Corson was there, and Lee Company. I mean, because when it was all said and done, for the game on Saturday, the kickoff at 1 o'clock, we only lost, I think, 2 concession stands in 1 suite for everything that went on. But it was a lot. I think Burke said we had domestic water lines. They had 9 to 10 break in concession stands. It's just the water just freezing, and then the ice and just had to burst, and the pipe's going to hold it. I mean, we had I think they call it a black pipe. That was the ice just blew it apart. It was absolutely amazing how the pressure that the ice created. In the sprinkler heads, we probably had 20 or 30. And even during the game, we were worried about P-traps freezing. I mean, our concession stands on our club level, we were hurting. I mean, the drains, they were frozen. So we had to watch how much we could do and all that stuff. It was, and the P-traps would start leaking. And then after the game, we got through the game. It was amazing to get through the game. I mean, every minute I was just going, all right, let's keep this thing going. When we were leaving, I mean, we had two more concession stands at 343 and 344 just pop. And so we ended up just turning off the water through the whole stadium just because it was Christmas Eve and I didn't want to have to come in the next day, to be honest with you, on Christmas, because it would take an hour and a half to get somebody down there and turn off the water, so we were just going to flood it some more. I mean, that was a great thing about having people there that night, is that if something happened, we were right on it. I mean, and Case was great. They were going back and forth. They had plenty of fans drying everything, but, so we turned off the water, and then so we went through Christmas, and then we're supposed to have that Monday off, but I had told my team, I said, listen, the goal is to be off on Monday the 26th, but if something happens, we're going to have to be at work. And so I sent them an email on the 24th saying, unfortunately, we're going to have to be back here on the 26th. So we started bringing, because then on the 29th, we had the Cowboys coming in for Thursday Night Football. And we had Thursday Night Football, and they started bringing in their stuff, not the Cowboys, but TV started moving in on Monday. So on that Monday, I mean, we didn't have water, so the lead company was in there. They're just bringing the water just slowly back in. And we started on 7 and just kept on going. And it was remarkable because we got through that Monday. Still, because we were afraid that once it started thawing, we'd have more breaks. But I really think shutting the water off so nothing else could happen was key. And then, we got through that Monday, got water back in there. On Tuesday, finish up that because we had to do it slowly. We couldn't just turn it all on at one time. And we got it on. Then the Cowboys game was at Thursday. I don't think you could really tell what happened. I'm going to back up to something else. Also on the game, on the Texans game on the 24th, with all the ice, with all the water, all that stuff, I think we only had 2 slip and falls for a game, which I was expecting, I don't know, 30, 50. But I think we only had 2, which was absolutely amazing. I mean, it was just a lot of work during that day. And then, you know, we got through the Cowboys game, going back there, which was great. And then we had, you know, the Music City Bowl on that Saturday. So we had 3 games in a week, plus the freeze. And, you know, we pulled everything off. We lost 1 or 2 concession stands, but, you know, the at the stadium, you know, we're going to have bills for, you know, the course and time, lead time, and case, but the damage to the building was very minimal. I told Monica I didn't think I had anything, but then I had $500 in baseboard, so I hate to tell you that. But
So Bob, is that pending through insurance filings or
Yeah.
what's?
Yep, I've been in touch with BC, and we've already had a walkthrough with, I can't think, I think it was Travelers. Yeah, Travelers came in last week sometime.
Thank you
So-
for the update. It's, we don't want the next meeting to have another facility have a freeze or any water damage. Sounds like we've had our fair share, but thank you for you and your team for being responsive and minimizing what could have been. And it's super impressive, you know, how the stadium bounced back and hosted 2 other very impressive events. So thanks.
Thank you. No, it was, any other questions? Happy to answer. Or...
Questions? Director Gill?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The question has to do with the heat that you said Chase was bringing in. The
Or the
additional
case,
heat.
yeah.
Case,
Yep,
I'm
yep,
sorry.
yep.
Have you had an experience with freezing like this since you've been with the Titans?
This is the worst we've ever had. I mean, you know, we had 3 days of, you know, it wasn't even just freezing temperature. You know, it was real. You know, it was 0 degrees, 7 degrees, 10 degrees. We've had it where concession stands have, you know, well, a couple of years ago we had our ticket office. We had a fire line break, and from a freeze.
So in preparation for that coldness, do you bring in heat? Do you just automatically bring in heat?
We have we've not brought in the heat before.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, moving forward, I'll tell you, I plan on having somebody stay overnight. I mean, I'm not just because to have somebody there. I mean, we do have security doing their walks, but to have somebody there that knows where to turn off the water right away, help minimize the damage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, Bob, thank you for that update. It sounds like an absolutely horrible experience, but a miraculous recovery. So kudos to you and your team.
It was a long night, but you know what? It's what we do. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have Geodis Park and Nashville SC report coming up. Brandon Hill, Head of Community Engagement, is going to be speaking with us this morning. Good morning.
Board members. My name is Brandon Hill, and I'm the Head of Community Engagement for the Nashville Soccer Club. I've been asked to come and just say a few words about our community engagement so far. I'll start by saying we're tremendously proud of the inroads we've been able to make in just 3 short years. If I'm being honest, it feels like last year was really our first real opportunity to get out given the pandemic. A lot of you all know that 2 weeks after our very first match in 2020, the pandemic started and really shut us down. And community engagement's a really difficult thing to do completely virtually, especially if we didn't have the luxury of a lot of other clubs around the league that had lots of programs started and foundations built. We were just getting started before we had to shut things down. And so last year in 2022, we were really able to get out and show the breadth of our community programming and a lot of our efforts. So, you know, the first slide. One of the first things I'll say is that just our approach is really about 3 specific action items. Number 1, involvement. So we try to be involved with as many community organizations and nonprofits as we can. Right now, we have a little over 70 partnerships with different nonprofit organizations and community groups within the city, just to have touch points and be able to invite them out and have relationships with things that we do here at the stadium and outside in the community. The second one is engagement, which for us is a deeper level of involvement. We did a lot of work in our first couple of years, just going out and talking to community members. We hosted a series of community conversations, James Casey Homes and J.C. Napier Homes, also in Edgehill, just to ask the community, brought together residents, community stakeholders, teachers, principals, police officers, to ask how we could make a difference. And so we spent quite a bit of work trying to figure out how we could be deeply engaged with our partners to try to make an impact. And give a quick example of that, one of the things we heard quite a bit in 2020 and 2021 is that schools needed help keeping their kids on track in terms of literacy. Now, it would have been really easy for us to just come and send a couple of players and show our faces, but we launched a whole program called Kickstart the Reading. That program doubled in size from 2021 to 2022. Right now, we have about 200 students engaged, and last year alone, they contributed over 2,500 hours of reading, and just tries to show a little bit about how we approach how we leverage our resources and our players and the entire club to try to make a difference, especially in areas that are huge priorities in the community. We run about 9 different unique community programs. Over half of them are exclusively for children and youth. Last year, we had over 1,700 community guests, most of them from Nashville Promise Zones, to be guests of the game, and not just have them in the game, but to highlight them and to spread awareness about the different organizations that they come from. And we always try to show all 30,000 fans ways that they can support the different organizations that we support. And so that's been quite a big effort for us. And then last but not least, investment. We're really proud. Last year, we launched the Nashville SC Community Fund, and we wrote out our first series of grants. In total, last year, we gave out about $130,000 just in the combination of community grants, tickets, donated items to nonprofit organizations. And we're really excited about all that we can do moving forward. Last thing I'll say is if you've been to any of the matches, our league is really, really serious about highlighting and celebrating as many groups as we can. And so we do a number of different special events. We're working on Black History Month activations right now. We work with a number of organizations around API Month, Pride Month, Hispanic Heritage Month. And we like to use those opportunities to direct our fans to support local businesses. Right now, we're doing a patch campaign, which we do during Pride, during Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month, to try to direct our fans to go and support local minority-owned businesses. But these are just a few ways that we try to leverage the club's resources to make a difference in the community here. I'm not sure if we have another slide, but go ahead just in case. I think these are just some photos of some of the different efforts that we've had over the course of the year. Another program, MMPS Plays program. A lot of people are familiar with the community benefits agreement that we have here. And there are a number of things. I won't go over all the different things that are in the CBA, but once again, just to give an example of how we try to be engaged, I think there's a deliverable in the CBA that says we're supposed to make X number of visits to elementary schools each year. We could easily just send out a couple of players and check that box, but we've developed an entire program with Metro Schools built around nutrition, fitness, plays as an acronym for promoting lifetime activities through youth soccer. We have our players go out and spend time with kids and talk to them about their regimens and what they do to stay healthy. We did a really cool initiative with Edgehill this past Thanksgiving, where we provided over 200 food boxes for families throughout Edgehill. And we have a number of opportunities to bring kids out to the game and to highlight them. These are young people from Napier Summer Program here at the bottom left, and Tempo at Whitsett Elementary School here on the bottom right. But we're really just excited to be able to get out and make an impact in our community, where it's something that we take very serious, and we're just excited about working, continue to work with a lot of community organizations and partners as we move forward. Any questions?
Questions?
All right. I'll hand it over to Ben Reeves, our VP of Finance.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Good morning, Madam Chair, and the rest of the board members. It's an honor to have you at Geodis, and thank you for this opportunity. Do you want to go to the next slide? Maybe the next slide. What's that? So I'm here to give a few highlights from our 2022 season, as well as talk about some of the things we're excited about leading into 2023. So in 2022, we successfully hosted 19 soccer matches and over 100 other non-soccer events in all the wonderful spaces here at Geodis Park, including the one we're all sitting in here today. If you've not been to a match at Geodis Park yet, the atmosphere can only be described as both special and electric. And I think that atmosphere helped propel the club to a very successful year in 2022. We ended up placing fifth in the Western Conference and qualifying for the playoffs for the third consecutive year, and in doing so, becoming only the fifth team in the history of MLS to qualify for the playoffs in each of their first 3 years in the league. Not only did the team have success on the field, but we had a number of players who received special recognition for their contributions on the pitch. Hani Mukhtar won the Golden Boot for scoring the most goals in 2022 and also was named the league MVP. We also had two of the linchpins of our defense, Walker Zimmerman and Shaq Moore, get the honor of being called up to play with the U.S. men's national team in Qatar just a few months ago, where the U.S. team played so valiantly. We're also very fortunate to have a very wonderful and loyal fan base. They created the atmosphere at Geodis Park and made it as special as it is. And that's translated across to 23,000 plus season ticket holders and an average attendance of 28,000 for our MLS matches. And just a couple other call outs for some of the non-soccer groups at NSC. We had two groups that received special recognition for the league for being the best in class in 2022. That included our business intelligence team, as well as our stadium operations team, who is responsible for the effective operation of this facility. So big accomplishments for the group and the team and the players. And as we look forward to 2023, again, we have a lot to be excited about. As we're sitting here in this room today, we have our players, coaches, and training staff down in Tampa, Florida, working hard to prepare for another successful run in 2023. Just like 2022, we're scheduled to host a minimum of 19 soccer matches with a goal of hosting more, including what we hope to be the first home playoff match in Geodis Park history. But before we get there, we have our opening match coming up against NYFC on February 25th, and what is one of the marquee matches of MLS opening weekend. It's not only the home opener for NSC, but it's the official opening match for all of Major League Soccer. I might be a bit biased, but I don't think they could have chosen a better venue or a better team for such an honor. Finally, we have some special events coming up in 2023 that we wanted to highlight, starting with the She Believes Cup, which Geodis will be welcoming on February 19th, where we'll see our U.S. women's national team and defending World Cup champions take on Japan, followed by Brazil versus Canada. And it's always a special opportunity when you get the chance to host one of the national teams, so we're thrilled about that. Finally, we're also another first in the history of Geodis Park coming in 2023. We'll have our first two concerts. And again, we're thrilled to have two superstar acts. We have Shania Twain coming in June, followed by Pink coming in September. And with that, I want to say thank you again to the board and open it up to any questions you might have for Nashville SC.
Questions? Not, thank you so much for that report. It looks like we had a great 2022 and we're off to a great start for 2023. And we're especially excited to see that She Believes Cup coming. So,
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, so before we adjourn, I'm going to ask Director Atkins if she would share some information with us right now. Did I? Well, we were. Okay, she did a soft pitch. Okay, Director McGee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, just want to take this moment to recognize our Executive Director, Monica Faulknerson, who received the Alan Morgan Award, which is a Carson Newman Athletics Distinguished Service Award, and was named after Carson Newman, Athletics Director and former Superintendent of Knox County Schools, and presented to a former Carson Newman University student athlete or coach for notable professional accomplishments and life experiences. Congratulations, Monica.
Congratulations. So this concludes our agenda, and I'd like to thank the members of the board, Sports Authority staff, Metro Finance, Metro Legal, our facility team representatives, and the mayor's office for being here this morning. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 16th, and the Finance Committee will meet to take up the fiscal year 24 budget. So if no other comments, we'll consider ourselves adjourned. Thank you for being here.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.